हेलो फ्रेंड्स, आप सभी का स्वागत है हमारे यूट्यूब चैनल विजार्ड क्लासेस पर। दोस्तों, अभी जो पिछले 2 दिनों में कंप्यूटर की क्लासेस लाए थे, उसी क्लासेस को मर्ज करके जो है आज 100 के अप्रॉक्स क्वेश्चन जो है इसी सेशन में डिस्कस करने के लिए जा रहे हैं। ठीक है, तो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं। पहला है व्हाट इज ए कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क। थोड़ा स्पीड में ही क्लास को खींचेंगे। व्हाट इज ए कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क, तो ये हो जाएगा ए कलेक्शन ऑफ इंटरकनेक्टेड कंप्यूटर्स एंड डिवाइसेज डेट कैन कम्युनिकेट एंड शेयर रिसोर्सेस। अब है व्हाट इज इंटरनेट, तो ये हो जाएगा इंटरकनेक्शन ऑफ वाइड एरिया नेटवर्क। इंटरकनेक्शन ऑफ वाइड एरिया नेटवर्क। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ ब्लूटूथ। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ ब्लूटूथ, ये हो जाएगा पर्सनल एरिया नेटवर्क। Which of the following computer network is built on the top of another network? Overlay network होगा। Full form of OSI, Open System Interconnection। जो लोग पहले से देखे होंगे उनका रिवीजन होगा, और जो लोग पहले से नहीं देखे होंगे उनके लिए क्लासेस जो है न्यू क्लासेस होगा। चलिए नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पे। When a collection of various computers appears as a single coherent system to its clients is called, तो इसे जो है डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड सिस्टम कहते हैं। हाउ मेनी लेयर्स आर देयर इन द ISO OSI रेफरेंस मॉडल? 7। व्हाट आर नोड्स इन ए कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क? ऑल ऑफ द एबव। द कंप्यूटर दैट राउट्स द डेटा, द कंप्यूटर दैट टर्मिनेट्स द डेटा, द कंप्यूटर दैट ओरिजिनेट्स द डेटा। विच वन ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट ए फंक्शन ऑफ नेटवर्क लेयर? एरर कंट्रोल। How is a single channel shared by multiple signals in the computer network? Multiplexing. Which of the following devices forwards packets between network by processing the routing information included in the packet? Router. What is the term for an endpoint of an inter-process communication flow across a computer network? Socket. How do two devices become part of a network? A process in one device is able to exchange information with a process in another device. Which layer does the data link layer takes packet from and encapsulate them into frame for transmission? Network layer. Which of this is not a network edge device? Switch. Which type of network shares the communication channel among all the machines? Broadcast network. Which topology requires a multi-point connection? Bus topology. Which of the following maintains the domain name system? Distributed database system. When discussing IDs or IPs, what is signature? Attack definition file. Which of the following are gigabit Ethernet? All of the mentioned: 1000 base LX, 1000 base CX, 1000 base SX. Which of the following networks extend a private network across public network? Virtual private network. Which layer is responsible for process to process delivery in a general network model? Transport layer. What does each packet contains in a virtual circuit network? A short VC number. What is the term for the data communication system within a building or campus? LAN, local area network. What was the name of the first network? ARPANET. Which of the following is the network protocol for the internet? Internet protocol. Which network topology requires a central controller or hub? Star topology. Which of the following allows LAN users to share computer programs and data? File server. What type of transmission is involved in communication between a computer and a keyboard? Computer and a keyboard, simplex. Next है which layer provides the services to user? Application layer. Which connection is necessary? Which connection is necessary for a computer to join the internet? Internet service provider. Which of the following allows you to connect and log into a remote computer? Telnet. Which of the following is used in an attempt to render a computer resource unavailable to its intended user? Denial of service attack. Parity bits are used for which of the following purposes? To detect error. What kind of transmission medium is most appropriate to carry data in a computer network that is exposed to electrical interference? Optical fiber. A collection of hyperlinked documents in the internet forms the World Wide Web. The location of a resource on the internet is given by its URL. The term HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. A proxy server is used as the computer with external access. Which one of the following would breach the integrity of a system? Full access rights for all users. Which software prevents the external access to a system? Firewall. Which of the following best describe uploading information, sending information to a host computer? Which one of the following is the most common internet protocol? TCP/IP. Software program that allows you to legally copy files and give them away at no cost are called which of the following? Public domain. The term FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. At what speed does telecomputer refer? Baud rate. Which one of the following is not a network topology? Peer-to-peer. The maximum length in bytes of IPv4 datagram is 65535. Which of the following statement could be valid with respect to the ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol? A redirect message is used when a router notices that a packet seems to have been routed wrongly. When the mail server sends mail to other mail server, it becomes SMTP client. The length of an IPv6 address is 128 bit. Which of the following address belongs class A? 121.12.12.248. Which of the following is correct IPv4 address? 128.64.0.0. Which of the following IP address can be used as a loopback address? 127.0.0.1. The term WAN stands for Wide Area Network. Which of the following cannot be used as a medium for 802.3 Ethernet, a microwave link? What IP address class allocates 8 bit for the host identification port? Class C. The term IANA stands for Internet Assigned Number Authority. How many versions available of IP? 2. Which layer of the TCP/IP stack corresponds to the OSI model transport layer? Host to host. On a simplex data link, which of the following is a possible error recovery technique? The use of Hamming code. Which of the statement is correct with regard to time division multiplexing and its variant? A statistical TDM makes efficient use of the bandwidth only if the arrival pattern of the data stream is probabilistic. TDM requires the transmitter and receiver to be synchronized periodically. The term IPv4 stands for Internet Protocol version 4. The term LAN stands for Local Area Network. Which of the through is share the data of two computer network? In a specific, if the system use separate protocols, which one of the following devices is used to link two system? Gateway. How many digits of the data network identification code identify the country? First 3. Which of the following method is used to broadcast two packets on the medium at a time? Collision. Which of the following is true with regard to the ping command? Ping summarizes the packet loss and round trip delay between two IP endpoints. The private key in asymmetric key cryptography is kept by sender and receiver. Which of the following algorithm is not used in asymmetric key cryptography? Electronic code book algorithm. In the cryptography, the sequence of the letter is rearranged by transposition cipher. Which of the following statement is true about error detection technique used on communication link? All of these. Cyclic redundancy check sequence can detect as well as correct error. Error detection cannot be used on simplex link. Hemming code can detect up to 3-bit error. The correct order of corresponding OSI layer for having functionalities of routing and reconciling machine representation differences with shared access resolution and ASCII test protocol is network presentation data link application. In which of the following switching method the message is divided into a small packet switching? Which of the following switch methods creates a point-to-point physical connection between two or more computer? Circuit switching. What is the second name of the proxy server? Application level gateway. Which of the following server allows LAN user to share data? File server. How many fields are there in the SMDS packet? 3. What is the maximum data transfer rate of the optical fiber wire? 1000 MB per second. Ports network works on the principle of circuit switching. Which of the following protocol is the bit-oriented protocol? HDLC. SLIP stands for Serial Line Internet Protocol. The second port is used dash in the two-port network output terminal. Which of the following layer does the HTTP protocol work on? Application layer. Which of the following statement correct about the cyber cryptography? It is a method of performing encryption and decryption. SONET stands for Synchronous Optical Network. How many layers does the SONET contain? 4 layers. Rack receiver designed for multipath fading. What is the size of the destination port in the UDP protocol? 16-bit. What network utility uses the time to live TTL field in the IP header to elicit ICMP error message? Tracer route. A client of the DNS domain name system application is called DNS resolver. How many characters consist of the entire host name? 255 characters. During normal IP packet forwarding by a router, which of the following fields of the IP header is updated? Checksum. Which of the following statement is correct about the DWDM? It can transmit data at very high speed. MAC address is also called physical address. Which of the following address is a 32-bit? Virtual address. EDI stands for Electronic Data Interchange. What is the maximum data transfer rate of the ISDN? 64 KB per second. ARPANET stand for तो इसका फुल फॉर्म क्या होगा आप लोग कमेंट सेक्शन में कमेंट्स करिए, ठीक है। ARPANET का फुल फॉर्म क्या होगा इसका आंसर जो है आप लोग कमेंट सेक्शन में कमेंट्स करिए। और दोस्तों हमारे इसी चैनल पे जो है हमारे इसी यूट्यूब चैनल पे जो है जीके जीएस की भी क्लासेस चल रही है और जीके जीएस की क्लासेस जो है बहुत ही शानदार तरीके से चल रही है। आप लोग जीके जीएस का भी प्रैक्टिस किया कीजिए, ठीक है, क्योंकि एग्ज़ाम आ जाएगी तो समय बचेगा नहीं। इसलिए जो है जीके जीएस का क्लासेस भी आप लोग अवश्य देखें, वो भी एमसीक्यू क्वेश्चन के फॉर्म में डिस्कस कराते हैं और बहुत ही शानदार क्लासेस चलती है। चलिए तो फिर मिलते हैं कल क्लासेस में। थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स, थैंक यू एवरीवन।